This is Paul Broca. Paul Broca was born on the 28th of June in the year 1824. He was born in France to his parents Jean-Pierre, otherwise known as Benjamin Broca, and Annette Thomas. Broca received his basic education in the school in his hometown, and he earned a bachelor's degree by the age of 16. He entered into medical school in Paris when he was 17, and he graduated by the age of 20. Before Broca, phrenology was the leading theory in association between personality and location. Phrenology was the examination of the bumps and depressions on the skull in order to determine the strengths and weaknesses of various mental faculties. However, by the turn of the 19th century, phrenologists' claims began to be questioned as scientifically accurate. Scientific research on the brain was being performed by many, one of which was Paul Broca. The idea of brain localization began to arise as another theory. On September 13, 1848, a man named Phineas Gage was working as a railroad construction supervisor. An explosion occurred, blowing an iron tamping rod right through his skull. Gage survived the accident and surprisingly fully recovered physically. However, his personality had changed. The rod had entered just below his left eye and exited through the top of his head. Before the accident, Gage was a neurotypical, well-mannered man. And after the explosion, however, he suddenly became indulgent and profane. He was impatient and cared little for his friends, of which his friends claimed that he was not himself anymore. The study of Gage's skull linked ablated areas of the brain to corresponding changes that were expected in behavior. Paul Broca did similar work to those who made correlations of Gage. Paul Broca proposed post-mortem correlations, and he did this by using what is called the clinical method. It involved first determining a behavior disorder in a living patient, and then after the patient had died, locating the part of the brain responsible for the behavior disorder. Broca made an observation in one patient that led to his famous discovery referred to as Broca's area. A patient in an insane hospital near Paris could not talk, but that seemed to be his only defect. Broca's examination showed that the man could still communicate by other means and was mentally normal in all other aspects. He examined the larynx and other organs involved in articulation. He concluded that muscle movement was not hindered and no paralysis was present to interfere with the production of speech. The man was surely intelligent enough to speak, so what was the problem? The man died a few days later. Broca performed an autopsy and discovered a lesion in the third frontal convolution of the left cerebral hemisphere. Broca was not the first to utilize the clinical method. However, his discovery was impressive. His discovery concluded that a portion of the left cortical hemisphere is used in speech production. This area was named Broca's area after Broca's discovery.